Hello, guys. Good evening. Welcome to the session today. Hope you all can hear me. Can you guys confirm once? Okay, great. Actually, this is our second demo, guys. Yesterday we have completed our first demo. Those who have not attended our first demo, you can always connect with an admin and get the recording, and you can catch. Yes. Sorry, yeah. Someone is having some question. It seems, right? Yes, Rohit. You have any question? Okay. Okay. That we will see at the end. Such kind of a questions we will see at the end. So let's not disturb any other students, right? So that is very generic question, right? So we will take it at the end. If I thought of like it's a technical question, but for sure, Rohit, I'll come to you and I'll try to clarify your doubt for sure by the end of the session. Okay, so that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. Okay. So yes, today is our second demo, guys. As per the plan, hope you all can see my screen as well. So as we discussed, we are going to start with a cloud overview. That is our very first topic. In this one, we are going to discuss about why we need the cloud platform, right? So why we need the cloud platform and what is the difference between the on-premises and cloud. So that is our today's agenda. I am going to talk about that. And after that, I will also try to give you some kind of an overview about GCP interfaces as well, right? So I'm going to tell you about those things, guys. So I'm going to tell you about this topic, guys, today. So very simple topic, very easy to understand. I am going to tell you about, I will take a small scenario and I'll try to help you with that. So let us proceed further. Why we need the cloud platform. The very important thing is that you need to understand how people were working before the cloud. That means before the cloud means how people were working in the on-premises working model, nothing but a traditional working model. So what were the challenges that they were facing and how the cloud able to fix those problems? Let us try to understand so that you will try to appreciate the technology of the cloud, right? So let us try to do it. Assume that I would like to take a small scenario. Assume that there is a company. That company wanted to create a new application for their users. So that company has decided to create a new application for their users. So when they wanted to create a new application, what are the things that they have to take care of during the entire journey of application creation? Let us try to understand. Okay, so for example, assume that a company wanted to create a new application. So what will happen? There will be a business, people will be there. As per the business, they will try to gather the requirements of this application. What they try to do, sir? They will try to gather the requirements of this application. Sorry, 1 minute. Why is the screen is blinking? Yeah, sorry guys. So let us consider that a company wanted to create a new application. What will happen? A business comes with a requirement for the application, right? Now, after that, there will be a business analyst will be there. What he will try to do is that he will gather all the needs from the business and he analyzes that and converts that into a set of high level technical requirements. Okay, what he will do, sir? He will gather all the requirements or all the needs from the business and analyzes it and converts that into a set of high-level technical requirements, and then he passes that information to the solution architect. He passes that information to the solution architect. Now, the solution architect will try to create a architecture diagram to be followed for the deployment of this application. What the solution architect will do, sir? He will create an entire architecture diagram to create the application and deploy the application. So in this architecture diagram, he will mention what is the program that they are going to use it, the code, the programming languages, what is the entire infrastructure that is required for them to use or run this particular code. So all the details that are required for the application deployment will be properly mentioned in the architecture diagram that will be done by the solution architect. So this is what happens in the traditional working model, guys. Look at here. So whenever they wanted to create a new application, the business comes up with the requirement for the application, and the business analyst will gather that needs from the business, and he analyzes it, and he passes that information to the solution architect. Now the solution architect will design the architecture diagram to be followed for the deployment of this application, which may typically involve the code. When I say code, which team they are creating the code, what is the programming languages, what are the requirements for the code, all the details he will be mentioning. And similarly, the infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, it could be such as specification type or its number of servers needed, or it could be a front-end web server or a back-end web servers or the databases or the load balancers. So whatever the things that are required for this code to run, that is what we are calling as an infrastructure. Now that entire infrastructure has to be available. Yes or no? If the code will be developed by the developers, nothing but an application team will be there. So the application team, what they do, sir? The code will be developed by the application team. That is well and good. But where the infrastructure will be available? In a traditional working model, who has to maintain this infrastructure? Can anyone tell me, in a traditional working model, who has to maintain this infrastructure? Who will create this infrastructure? Who has to maintain this infrastructure? Can anyone tell me? In a traditional working model, what will happen is that this entire infrastructure, whatever it is required for the application deployment, has to be taken care by the company only. So that is the reason earlier, if you go for some company, they are managing their own data center. They are managing their own data center, where in the data center you will be having all the infrastructure available. You will be having all the infrastructure available. So how they are building this data center? So they have to purchase some kind of a data infrastructure. They have to keep it in the data center, and someone will try to configure it. So that is what a data center. For the data center, you have to supply 24/7 electricity, 24/7 cooling supply, and 24 by security person, and 24/7 maintenance activities has to be done. So maintaining a data center is one of the costliest thing and very expensive thing. And one more thing is that very critical thing also, because the entire infrastructure is maintained by the data center only, and on top of this infrastructure only, your applications are going to be running. Okay, your applications are going to be running. Now look at here. Now the solution architect has created an architecture diagram. In that, the code will be developed by the application team. The infrastructure has to be available where, sir? The infrastructure has to be available in the data center. If it is already available in the data center, then there is no problem. They will try to use that assets, and they will deploy the application. What if the additional hardware is needed? Can you guys tell me, what if the extra infrastructure is required? Because it's not that all the time the entire infrastructure required for the new application may be available, may not be available. What if it is not there? What we have to do, guys? Can anyone guess it? If the infrastructure required for the application development, some of them is available, but additional things are not available there. So what the data center or the solution architect has to do now? Can you guys guess it? Correct, right? So they have to purchase it. If it is not there with me, right? If I want one apple, if it is not there with me, what I'll do? I'll go and I'll purchase it. Okay, so what the solution architect will do is that he will connect with the procurement team. For every company, there will be a procurement team will be there. They focus on the procurement of the infrastructure. So there will be a procurement team. Now the solution architect will create a request to the procurement team. Now the procurement team connects with a vendor team. What the vendor team will do is that vendor team will buy the machinery or the infrastructure from the machines or shops, and they deliver it to the data center. What they do, sir? So they will purchase the entire infrastructure as per the procurement team request. They will purchase it from the different shops and they deliver it to the data center. So it may take days, it may take weeks, or it may even take months also for the entire hardware to be purchased and deliver it to the data center. Okay, so here we may be wasting a lot of time. It is because that, so sometimes the time for purchasing it and delivering it to the data center take a lot of time, right? It could take days, weeks, or months also sometimes. So this is how, if the entire infrastructure is already available, then there is no problem. But if it is not available, now the solution architect will create a request to the procurement team. Now the procurement team connects with the vendors team. Vendors team will purchase the entire order and deliver it to the data center. Okay, so what are the infrastructure that they have bought? Can we directly use it for the application deployment? Can you guys guess it again? Can we directly use it for the deployment? No, right? Most of the times it is a raw infrastructure. We cannot directly use it for the deployment. So that is where the infrastructure team come into the picture. That is where the infrastructure team come into the picture. So the very first team is that field engineers come into the picture. They'll arrange the entire infrastructure into the rack and stack. So you see here in this picture. So this looks like a rack and stack. So this is rack and stack, guys. This is all rack and stack. So what the infrastructure team field engineers will do? The field engineers will try to assign or try to create a rack and stack with the help of this infrastructure. And after that, the system administrators come into the picture. They will do the initial configuration to the picture and they will do the network configurations to make everything available over the network. And the storage admins will assign the storage. The backup admins will configure the backups. Finally, once the systems have been set as per the standards, it will be handed over to the application team for the deployment of the application. So this is what the application team. So what the application team will do, they have created some code. So as per the standards, these many people are working behind the scene to make the entire systems available as per the standards that they have mentioned in the architecture diagram. So, so they have the field engineers, the system admins, network admins, storage admins, backup admins, what they are trying to do, they are making the entire systems as per the standards that is mentioned in the architecture diagram. So as per the architecture diagram, if everything is set up, that will be handed over to the application team. Now the application team will deploy the application on top of this systems or infrastructure. So that is where your application will be deployed on top of the data center. Your application is available so that the user can make use of this application. So this is how, so whenever you wanted to create a new application, the traditional working model, so this entire process will be there, sir. This entire process will be there. See, if I have to tell you all the things in a one shot, so whenever you wanted to create a new application, the business comes up with a requirement for the application. Okay, sorry. The business comes with a requirement for the application. The business analyst will gather the information and passes that information to the solution architect. Now the solution architect create an architecture diagram to be followed for the deployment. And if the entire infrastructure is already available at the data center, there is no problem. If the additional hardware is required, they have to connect it to the procurement team. Now the procurement team connects with the vendors team. Vendors team purchase the infrastructure and deliver it to the data center. And once it is delivered at the data center, field engineers will come into the picture, system admins, storage admins, backup admins. Once the systems are available as per the standards that is mentioned in the architecture diagram, it will be handed over to the application team. Now the application will deploy the code on top of these systems. That's where your application is created. So this is what we call as a traditional working model, guys. In a traditional working model, these many people works behind the scene. Okay, these many people works behind the scene. Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, so this is This is how it works. But sir, everything seems very good. But can you tell me, sir, what is the problem here? But sir, I see that everything going smooth. But can you tell me what is the problem? I would like to tell you guys. So if you look at here, there are many places we are wasting a lot of time. If you look at it, if the additional hardware is required, we are wasting here the days, months, also sometimes, right? So this is where the place. And for configuring all of these things, also we are wasting a lot of time. So that is the reason the turnover time varies from the weeks to the months for everything to be ready for the deployment. So that is the reason the traditional working model is called a slow deployment model. The traditional working model called a slow deployment model. Do you guys agree with me? Can you guys tell me? Are you guys able to understand this point? Do you guys agree with me or not? Correct, right? So because the time we are taking a lot of time in some areas, that is the reason the turnover time varies from weeks to months for everything to be ready as per the standards for the deployment process. That is the reason we call it as a slow deployment model. And can you see here the overall cost to maintain the application or deploy the application is very high here, because we may have to maintain this entire data center. We have to maintain this team, this team, this team, this team. Many teams we have to maintain. So the overall cost to deploy the application or maintain the application is very high. So that is the reason. Can I call it as a expensive? Yes or no? Can I call it as a expensive or not? Yes. While some aspects can be automated, the things that we are doing for the procurement team, vendor team, we can automate the delivery process, right? We can automate the work of field engineers. We can automate some aspects, we can able to automate it. But most of the steps such as rack and stack mechanism or the deliveries or the procurements cannot be automated. So that's the reason. Can I call it as a limited automation? Can I call it as a limited automation? Yes or no? And one more thing is that if you look at here, with so many teams working on so many different tasks, the chances of human error is very high, right? So many teams are there and they're working on a different activities. The chances of human error is very high, which leads to the inconsistency in the environment. Okay, so do you agree guys with this point also? And another major disadvantage is that underutilization of the compute resources. You may need some 500 GB and you bought it, but you are only using 100 GB of it. That is what we call as the underutilization of the compute resources, which leads to the resource wastage. Resource wastage. So this is also one of the major disadvantages whenever you are working in the traditional working model. So these are the different disadvantages over the past decades. So that is the reason organizations are looking for an alternative to the traditional working model. In a traditional working model, because it is a slow deployment model, it is expensive, limited automation, human error is very high, which leads to the inconsistency in the environment, and there is a resource wastage is also there. Due to these many disadvantages over the past decades, the organizations are moving to the cloud platforms. So that is where the cloud providers came into the picture. That is where the cloud providers came into the picture. What they do for us? So you don't have to manage the infrastructure for your application. We provide you the infrastructure as a service to you. What cloud provider do for us, guys? So the cloud provider says, we provide you the infrastructure as a services to you so that you can focus on the innovation. You can focus on the innovation. So that is where you don't need these many things. So you don't need this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, so you don't need to maintain the data center also. That is what is the advantage when you are working in the cloud computing model, because The cloud provider provides you the resources as a computation or resources as a what we call it as a infrastructure, so that you don't need to focus on the infrastructure creation. The infrastructure is readily available to you. You just have to create it, and the creation hardly takes 5 to 10 minutes. Creation hardly takes 5 to 10 minutes, so that whatever the infrastructure that is mentioned in the solution architect diagram, that infrastructure can be created in the cloud platforms within few minutes or maybe in few hours, I would say. But we are wasting a lot of time there. Okay, so that is how, this is the reason most of the companies, I'm telling you guys, you don't have these many teams, you don't need to recruit them, you don't need to worry about salary to them, you don't need to worry about trainings to them, nothing is required, because all of these things, or most of these things, are handled by the cloud provider itself. Okay, so that is what, so that is the reason the deployment model, when you don't have these many teams, the deployment model will be faster or not. So that's the reason the cloud providers, when you're working in the cloud computing model, the deployment model will be faster. One more is, comparatively, compared to the traditional working model, the cloud computing model is cheap, guys, because you don't need to manage the data center, you don't need to manage these many teams also. So that's the reason it is cheap. That problem is also not there. Because the cloud platforms works with the APIs, application programming interfaces, so that's the reason the automation is very high comparatively. So that is the reason we do not have a limited automation problem also. And when you have a many teams working on a many activities, only you have a human error. But we do not have these many teams now, so we do not have a human error, and which does not lead to the inconsistency in the environment. That is also not, we do not have that problem also. And one more final thing is that the wasted resources, as that with the cloud platforms you have a concept of scalability, so you don't need to worry about creating the extra or less resources. So as per your requirement, as per your demand, the resources will be scaled up and down, so that you will only pay whatever the resources that you are using. Okay, it is like a pay and you go model, where how many amount of resources you are using, you are going to pay the cost to that only. So that's the reason the wasted resources concept is also comparatively less here. So this is how, when the cloud came into the picture, these many problems are solved. These many problems are solved. So this is the reason most of the companies have started looking towards the cloud, guys. So that's the reason we are also focusing on the cloud. In simple words, if I have to talk about the difference between the on-premises and cloud. Okay, look at here. In an on-premises working model, an organization managing its own infrastructure to run their code application. If an organization is there, look at here, we have seen some organization, right? If an organization managing its own code and infrastructure, sorry, managing their own infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, it could be a server, hardware, or software, or networking, or storage. If an organization managing its entire infrastructure, such as servers, hardware, software, networking, and storage, then that company we call it as a, or that company is following a on-premises working model or a traditional working model. If they are managing their own infrastructure, then we call it as a traditional working model. But if an organization depends on the cloud provider for for services, sorry, if an organization is depends on a other cloud provider for the infrastructure, then we call it as a cloud computing model. Right? For example, you wanted to create an application. This is your company. If you wanted to create an application, you are creating the code, but for the infrastructure, you're depending on the some other cloud provider. Such kind of a thing, we call it as a cloud computing model. Such kind of company is following as a cloud computing model. So another cloud provider will be there, and they are going to deliver the infrastructure as a service to you, so that you get benefit of these things. So this is what we call as a cloud computing model. Okay, So this is the main difference between the traditional working model as well as cloud computing model, guys. Okay, hope you got some idea about both of these things. Now tell me if anyone have any questions, please raise your hand, guys. If anyone have any questions, please raise your hand. So this is how, so when you're working in the traditional working model, a lot more things you have to take care of it on your own. In addition to the code development also, in addition to the innovation also, you have to take care of a lot more things. But when you go for the cloud computing, what will happen is that you focus on the code innovation. You focus on the innovating the code in a different varieties, but the entire infrastructure is managed by your cloud provider, so that you only pay for whatever the resources that you are using. So that's called as a cloud computing model. Okay, that is called as cloud computing model. Yeah, are we good? Anyone have any questions? Please confirm. Yes or no? Great. So that's great to hear, you guys. Hope you got some idea about now. You have, sorry, let's not, I will tell you about this thing later in our upcoming sessions. This topic will come, because if I tell you at this point of time, it will be like a more information for you to digest at this point of time, I would say. But for sure in upcoming sessions I'm going to tell you about this thing, so let's not worry about it this now. Okay, now hope you got some idea about the traditional working model, how people were working there, and what were the challenges that they were facing, and how the cloud is came into the picture, and it is solving all of these challenges. So that is the reason now you appreciate the technology of the cloud. So that's the reason most of the companies are looking towards the cloud, right? So that's how. Now let us see, we already know about the Google Cloud Platform. Let me going to just give you some brief. Google Cloud Platform is one of the leading cloud provider. They provide you the services or products for the organizations to build, deploy, and scale the applications and services in the cloud. We have seen, right? So the cloud provider, GCP is one of the leading cloud provider. They provide you the cloud computing services. These services are very useful for the organizations to build an application, store the data, process the data, analyze the data, whatever the activity that you wanted to do in your organization can be able to use these particular services in the cloud providers. So one of such cloud platform is a Google Cloud Platform, and which provides you the highly reliable, secure, and scalable infrastructure. And this infrastructure is available throughout the world. Okay, so that is what it is. And what are the services, sir, if you ask me? So it is providing you the compute services, networking services, storage and database services, big data services, machine learning services, identity and security services, and management tools, and many more. Okay, many more. I have just mentioned here only few, and many more are there. Okay, yeah, right. So you have this many services. Sir, I have these many services with me, but I wanted to work with these services. Can you guys tell me? I would like to ask you one question. What we wanted to do? Can you guys tell me, sir? What is our agenda in Google Cloud Platform? Can anyone tell me what we wanted to do in the Google Cloud Platform? We as a data engineer, sir. I am working as a data engineer. Can you guys tell me, you as a data engineer, what do you wanted to do in the Google Cloud Platform? Can you guys tell me? I'll write it here. What is the data engineer do? He collect the data, he collect the data, ingest the data, right? A data engineer collects the data from the multiple data sources. He ingests the data into the multiple layers of storage, and it will store. He wanted to store the data and manage the data, right? He wanted to transform the data. He wanted to process the data. He wanted to analyze the data. He wanted to visualize the data, and he want visualize the data. He wanted to do the governance, data governance also. He wanted to take care of the data governance as well, and he wanted to take care of the monitoring also. Okay, so this is what we wanted to do in the data engineering. Yes or no? Sir, I wanted to collect the data from the multiple data sources, ingest it into the layer and store it, transform it, process it, analyze it, visualize it, governance, monitoring, many other things. So this is what we wanted to do, sir. So if you wanted to do, where do you want to do, sir? All of these things. Can you guys guess it where you wanted to do? We wanted to do this in the Google Cloud platform, right, sir? I wanted to do all of these things in the Google Cloud platform. So when you wanted to perform all of these activities in the Google Cloud platform, there can be a plenty of services in the Google Cloud platform, such as you have a Google Cloud Storage, BigQuery, Dataproc, Dataflow, Airflow, and so I'm just mentioning the what we call it as the high level names, guys. So yeah, let me mention properly. BigQuery. I told you yesterday also. BigQuery, Dataproc, Dataflow, Airflow, Data Fusion, Cloud Functions. Okay, so there are many things are there, such as if you wanted to do all of these things, you need to have the tools, right, sir? If I wanted to work with these activities, such as if I wanted to collect the data, I need to have a tool. If I wanted to ingest the data, I need to have a tool. If I wanted to store the data, so those tools are here. Those calling it as a services in the Google Cloud platform, right? So you are calling it as a Google Cloud platform, right? So when you wanted to do these activities in the Google Cloud platform with these services, so you need to have a different interface methods to interact with the GCP, right? You need to have a interface method. Sir, I wanted to collect the data, or I wanted to transform the data. So you can use Dataproc, but how can you use Dataproc? So that is where one of the interface method that is available is there are three interface methods are available in the Google platform. That is console. Okay, so you have console. Okay, so one is console. The second one is Cloud Shell. And the third one is Cloud GK. So this is how. So if you wanted to work with these services in the Google Cloud platform, you have console, Cloud Shell, Cloud SDK. So these are the different services are there. So whenever you wanted to work with the Google Cloud platforms. Okay, so this is what we call as a interface methods, everyone. This is what we call as a interface methods to interact with the GCP. Okay, so sir, I am a data engineer. I wanted to perform these many activities such as transforming the data, processing the data, storing data. Sir, for doing that I wanted to interact with the Google Cloud platform, sir. For doing that, I wanted to interact with the Google Cloud platform for doing these many activities. So what are the interface methods available? If you ask me, we have a console, we have a Cloud Shell, and we have a Cloud SDK. So these are the three different methods are there, so that with the help of these three methods, you can able to work with the GCP interface, GCP services. Sir, can you show me? And can you show me and tell me, sir, what are these services? Yesterday also I might maybe let me try to show you. So this is our home page looks like, guys. So if you wanted to come to here, you can go to the console.cloud.google.com. Okay, you can go console.cloud.google.com. So this is how, when you click on this one, you will be coming to this particular page. I'll tell you for you also how to create this particular account, because I have already created a free tier account in the GCP. Maybe in our next session, maybe tomorrow session, I am going to tell you how to create this free tier account in the GCP for you also, so that you can able to have a free tier account for $300 for next 90 days. Okay, I will tell you. But just look at here. Sir, this is our left navigation menu. So I'm just giving you an overview of all of these options, guys. So here we have a left navigation menu. So where you can able to see all the services listed out. If you wanted to see all the services, you can also click on here. So all the products in the Google Cloud platform, if you wanted to see, you have management services, compute services, storage services, analytics. So all of these services are listed out here. See, plenty of the services are available in the Google Cloud platform, guys, if you wanted to use these things. Okay, so these many services are available in the Google Cloud platform. Okay, so this is our left navigation menu, first thing. And here also you have a list of services you can able to see. And this is our project area, guys. I will tell you what is project and how to create the project in our upcoming sessions, but let's not worry about that now. But just remember that this is our project area where we create a project, we create a new project, or we select the existing project. It is like a container to your services or resources. It is a resource container, you can think of. And this is where you use your search box. If you wanted to select some service, you can able to select from here. Or if you wanted to select some service by searching it out, you can also click on this search button. If I wanted to work with data flow, you can able to select that particular service. You can click on it here. So this is how you can also do that, guys. So this is your search box. And this is where you have a Gemini AI chart. So when you click on it, so the Gemini AI chart is directly available over the Google Cloud platform. You can also use it for whenever you have a questions. So this is also one thing. And this is our free trial status button. So this is our reward button or free trial status button. When you click on it, you will be able to see how much amount of data that is left. Okay, how much amount of money is left and how many days remaining. If you wanted to see those details, you can always just click on this reward status button and you will be able to see here. Okay, and after that you have a activate cloud shell button. I will tell you about this one in few minutes. This is our activate cloud shell button, guys. And here we have a notification channel. So whenever you are doing some kind of an activity like creating something, deleting something, you will be able to see the notification here. And this is a help button whenever you wanted to get support from the Google Cloud platform. And here you have all the details such as project settings and downloads or anything if you wanted to see. And this is your account name, use account name as well as your email ID. Okay, so all of these things are here. So this is your home page and you will be able to see welcome to the Google Cloud. This is my username, guys. Welcome to the GCP demo practice one. And you are in the free trial. So this is here also you can able to see all the details. Okay, so this is our Google Cloud Platform homepage tour. I have given just try to given you some kind of idea. Why did I given you? I'll tell you. So now come back to here. As I told you, if you wanted to interact with a Google Cloud Platform, can you guys tell me how many interacting methods are there? How many interacting methods are there? Can anyone tell me? Correct.
Three
So we have
methods.
correct. We have total 3 interface methods are there. So to interact with these many GCP services, we have total 3 interacting methods are there. One is console, the second one is Cloud Shell, the third one is Cloud SDK, and we have a fourth one also. We rarely uses it, but I would like to tell you that also that is APIs and third-party tools. So these are the total 4 methods. One is console, the Cloud Shell, Cloud SDK. These are the main things that we use all the time. And APIs and third-party tools, we are going to use it rarely, but that is also one of the interacting method. And let us try to understand what is console, what is Cloud Shell, and what is SDK. In a simple words, I would like to tell you guys. Okay, so I think in our notes also we have it, guys. So if you go to the Cloud Basics, I will provide you the access to the notes later. But when you have the access to the notes, the Cloud Basics and GCP Cloud Basics, and we are talking about the interfaces. This is the interfaces we are talking, guys. I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to paste it in the this one here. So as I told you, these are the 3 interfaces I'm going to talk about each and everything in detail. We have GCP interfaces available, guys. The very first method is what's the very first method is that a cloud console. Okay, so what is that? So we are going to first look at it. What is Cloud Console? Look at here. So a Cloud Console is a web-based graphical user interface. Sir, what is this one? It is a web-based graphical user interface. If you wanted to interact with the GCP services visually, you can able to do it with the help of the console. What is Cloud Console, sir? It is a web-based graphical user interface. And if you wanted to interact with the GCP services, you have to do it visually. You have to do it via visual interface. What is this one and where it is? So whatever you are seeing on this particular page is a console, guys. So you can also see here, this is console. Okay, this is console, guys. So whatever you are seeing, for example, sir, I wanted to work with GCS. So what you are trying to do, you are using the graphical user interface to interact with the GCP services. So that is what I'm calling as a console. A console is a graphical user interface to interact with the GCP services. Okay, so that is what is your console, guys. Similarly, we have a cloud shell. Similarly, we have a cloud shell, sir. What is cloud shell? If you ask me, sir, a cloud shell is a Linux-based. Okay, sorry. It is a web-based command line interface. What is this one, sir? A cloud shell is a web-based. Again, it is also available over the web only, and but it is a command line interface. Here it is a graphical user interface. Here it is a command line interface. So if you want to interact the GCP services using cloud shell, you have to use the commands. You have to use what, sir? Because it is a command line interface. In a command line interface, if you wanted to work with the GCP services, you have to interact it via commands only. You have to interact it via commands only. So that is what. And the third interface that we have here is that Cloud SDK. What is this one, sir? Cloud SDK. So what is Cloud SDK? So Cloud SDK is a local based. It is a local based. What is this one, sir? It is a local based command line interface. So if you wanted to work with the GCP services, again commands only. But what is the difference between Cloud SDK, guys? Cloud shell is available over the web because it is web based. Cloud is local based. That means it is installed on top of your local machine. According to your operating system, you can able to install the Cloud SDK, and from your local machine also via some commands and scripts, you can able to interact with the GCP services. So that is what is we call it as a Cloud SDK. Okay, so you have Cloud Console, Cloud Shell, and Cloud SDK. A Cloud Console is a web-based graphical user interface to interact with the GCP services visually. You have a Cloud Shell, which is a web-based command line interface to interact with the GCP services via commands or scripts. But the Cloud SDK is very similar to your Cloud Shell. The commands also same. The only difference is that it is local based, and here it is also a command line interface. Here we are going to use commands and scripts to interact with the GCP services. Again, same. Okay. So what you can do with the console, if you ask me, anything can be done using console, can they be done using the Cloud Shell, can also be done using the Cloud SDK. So the activities that you are able to do with help of the console can also be done using the Cloud Shell, can also be done using the Cloud SDK. Okay, so let us try to do a small demo and that's where we are going to wind up the session for today. Okay, so what is console, sir? It is a graphical interface. So for example, for example, I wanted to list out all the buckets in the Google Cloud Storage. So I will go to the cloud storage. I'm going to search here. This is my graphical user interface. I can search here in the graphical user interface. You can select this one. So visually and graphically you are interacting with the GCP services. This is what I call it, the console. See, I have listed out all the files inside this bucket. I can also list out the files inside this bucket also. So I have the file. So this is how you can able to interact with the services, whether you are listing it out, deleting it something, creating it something, whatever the activity that you are doing, it is called as interaction. So you are doing it using the graphical user interface and visual interface. So that is what I call it as a console. Okay, so that is what I call it as a console. Okay, so the same thing, sir. The same thing I wanted to do. I wanted to list out the same buckets and files inside a bucket. I wanted to do it via Cloud Shell. I wanted to do it via Cloud Shell. Sir, what is Cloud Shell? Can anyone tell me? What is Cloud Shell? Correct. So a Cloud Shell is one of the web-based graphical user interface. Sorry, one of the web-based command line interface. So where is that one, sir? It is a web-based, so that should be available here only because it is a web only, right? So you see here, activate Cloud Shell button. You click on this one so that the Cloud Shell terminal gets opened at the bottom. Cloud Shell terminal. See here, that means a command line interface is getting opened here. Let's wait. Okay, so this is what is your command line interface. In our upcoming sessions, I will tell you even more about, just to give you some idea, this is our command line interface. If you wanted to open this entire command line interface moving up and down instead, you can also open it in the new window. Here we can have open a new window, click on it so that that entire Cloud Shell terminal gets opened up here. Okay, so this is how. You can close it here. So this is how command line interface. Earlier we have listed out, for example, if you go here, so you went to the cloud storage, you have listed out all the buckets using the graphical user interface. So I wanted to do the same thing in the command line interface. How can I do that? So that's where you can have to use the commands. So I will tell you all of these commands later, but look at here. gsutil_ls is one of the command to list out all the buckets. I'm authorizing it. See here, we have listed out all the buckets. Yes or no? So this is how we can able to list out. Sir, I wanted to list out all the files inside this particular bucket, this airflow DAX. We have two files. See here, employee.csv sales red. I wanted to do the same thing here, sir. So this is your bucket name. You can paste it here, click on enter. So that you see here, you have two files. One is employee.csv and sales.csv. This is how you can also interact with the services via your command line shell or command line interface. Okay, that is called as a cloud shell, guys. Okay, so this is what we call as a cloud shell and cloud SDK. Sorry, cloud shell and cloud console. And the third method is cloud SDK, sir. So what is cloud SDK? Can anyone tell me what is cloud SDK? Just now we have seen, right? What is cloud SDK? So it is a web based, as I told you guys. So it is not a web based, it is a local based. It is not a web based, it is a local based command interface to interact with services via commands. To interact with the GCP services via commands, we are going to use cloud SDK. Okay, so now, so if you use cloud SDK according to your operating system, according to your local machine operating system, you have to download it, you have to install it. So this is what is something that you have to do. According to your operating system of your local machine, you have to download the cloud SDK and you have to install it. How do we do that, sir? So I have in my notes also I have mentioned here, you can able to see here install SDK. So you can click on it here. So this is where the page where you can able to see the options to install the SDK. To do that, you can click on this link, guys. When you click on this thing, you can able to see the options to. So you can able to see here to install the Google Cloud CLI or SDK, whatever it is you call it as. To install it, if your operating system is Linux or Ubuntu or Red Hat, Fedora or CentOS or macOS or a Windows or Chromebook. By default, it is selected Windows because most of the operating systems are Windows operating system only. So if you have wanted to download it, you see here. So this is an option to download. So this is your hyperlink. When you click on this one, see here it is downloaded because it is hardly 261 KB only. Okay, so this is how, according to your operating system, you have to come to this particular location and you have to download it. Okay, the same thing also I have mentioned here. To install the Google Cloud SDK on a Windows operating system, this is the same thing that you have to do. Once you have downloaded it, you have to install it, guys. You already know how to install it also. If some application you wanted to install it, you click on it. Okay, so this is how it opens. You just click on next, agree, next, next, install. When you click on install, it will take like 2 to 3 minutes, and then your Cloud SDK gets installed on top of your local machine. Very simple, guys. As per your operating system, come to this particular page. As per your operating system, select your operating system and download it. Once you have downloaded it on your local machine, you have to install it. Once it is installed, you can go here, search with SDK. Search with SDK, you are able to see because I have downloaded it and installed it. I am able to see here the SDK. So this is what is your SDK. Okay, so this is the SDK which is opened in your local machine. So if you wanted to see, because this is your SDK which does not know your account, right? It does not know your account. So if you wanted to connect it to your account, this particular account, what you have to do is that gcloud auth login. You have to enter this command. I have mentioned the same thing also here. Once you have downloaded it, when you click on start Google Cloud SDK, the command is gcloud auth login. We are logging into our account, Google Cloud account. We have to log in. Then only we can able to interact with the services, right? So that's the reason gcloud auth login. When you click on enter, and it will go to the browser, select your Google account. I am selecting, this is my account. Click on continue, click on allow, so that you have authorized to use your Google Cloud account. This particular account, it is started using it now. So you can also see here this page is updated. So now you logged into, oh, that's great. So now you are now logged into this particular account and it is selected this. Earlier, can you guys tell me, I wanted to list out the, as I told you, both are command line interface, the commands are same. There isn't any difference. So you can see here. So gsutil ls I have given. I would like to give you the same command here, gsutil ls. So when I give you gsutil ls, the buckets it show, right? So you can able to, so this how it is showing all the buckets. Sir, I wanted to list out the files inside this particular bucket. Okay, so gsutil ls space this particular bucket, it will be having two files if you remember, employee.csv and sales.csv. Okay, so this is how, not this service, you can also interact with QLS. I think two data sets are there. Similarly, here also you can do the QLS, two data sets will come. So this is how you can able to interact with the BigQuery. You can able to interact with the cloud storage, Dataproc, Dataflow, Airflow, any service you can able to interact with from this command line interface, or from the console also you can able to do it. Or from the console also you can able to do it. If you go to the BigQuery, you will be having two data sets. Okay, any service you can able to interact with the GCP. Guys, see here inside dataset, raw dataset, which is listed out here only. Okay, so this is how we calling as a interface methods. So this is how we can able to interact with the different services, guys. Okay, yeah. Anyone have any questions, please? Does anyone have any questions so far? Is my voice breaking, guys? Is it clear, or is my voice breaking? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here for today, and we have seen the different interfaces. In our upcoming sessions, we will see even more. Okay, so you have console, you have cloud shell, and you have cloud sdk. And in our upcoming sessions we will try to understand even more services, and when we will also try to understand how to interact with the gcp services. Okay, so that is what I am going to tell you in our upcoming sessions. I'm going to stop here the session for today. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me, guys. For the course, yeah, for course fee, the admin will inform you guys. So if you have any question on the course fee or the recording sessions or the access to all the things is going to be provided by the admin only, please get in touch with an admin. Okay, he will call you. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so whenever, sorry guys. So the course, I would like to mention the course timings one more time, guys, for all of you. The course timings is same, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day. Okay, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. The duration is 2 months. 2 months plus, I would say it will take 2 months plus. And for the course fee, connect with your admin. Course fee, connect with the admin. Sorry, course fee, connect with an admin. And for all the recordings also, recordings will be having the 1 year validity at least. And material access also you will be having for lifetime. And all of these things, connect with an admin. Admin provide you all the details about these things. They will provide you access to the material, notes, as well as all of these things, recordings, and Zoom session live links. Also, they will try to provide. Okay. Yeah. If anyone have any question, ask it. So all the demo sessions we have from here, the regular session from tomorrow only. For those people who wanted to enroll for the courses, connect with an admin, try to enroll and get access to all. Okay, from tomorrow onwards, it is the course will be only for the paid candidates, enrolled candidates. Okay, yeah. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, you are audible. Okay, okay, okay. See, I'm telling you, see, it's not like that. So the question, even though you have a 6 years of experience, your total experience is 6 years. Okay, but relevant to the GCP, when you mention it's 3 years. Okay, for a GCP, you will mention it as GCP as a 3 years. And so even though it is 12 LPA, 13 LPA, whatever it is, so you will ask 30% or 50%, you can easily go up to 18 LPA. Easily. Okay. If you struggle a little bit also, you can able to go up to more than 20 also. Yeah. Whatever it is. Okay. It's you have to see. The thing is that you already know how to get those documents. You already know how to manage those documents. Okay, it's you that you are managing all the things. It's not that you are explaining it to the HR, right? HR thinks you that you are a good candidate and you have properly completed your interview successfully with all the answers. So the interviewer is happy with your answers also. And that's where they ask you about sending all the documents. And when you send all the documents, you send properly the documents. Wherever you get the document, you send them, whether it is good or bad. It's not worry. If it is good, if they are allowing it to you to join the company, that's where you ask the package. Okay, so that is how. So you already know by the time you already have a gap means you already worried about your documents. You might have got the documents from some other person also, right? Okay, so I don't have to explain you all of those things, right? So but the thing, you already know everything. The only thing that you have to do is that properly learn the course, and you should be able to provide a good you should be able to provide the good answers in the interview so that they will be happy. So the thing, if you wanted to do all of those things, you have to put effort and learn the course properly, because you have to justify these 3 years. Right? You have to justify the 3 years. So the effort you have to put it and learn the course, that will make you to land on this 18 LPA. Okay. Yeah, you will be considered as a 6 years only. Don't worry about whether 3 years, last 3 years you worked on this one or not. So the companies gives your package as per the total experience. It does not give you the package as per your 1 year experience on GCP or 2 years experience. It doesn't matter. The package will be on the total experience. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Correct. That's fine. Yeah, 3 years also 12 years is fine. When I was 3 years experience, I was getting 14.5 from Accenture. Okay. I was earning 14.5 from Accenture when I was 3 years. 14.5 was fixed. And the variable will be almost 21% in the Accenture. Okay. So that means around 16 plus I was getting when I was working with it, when I have a 3 years of experience only. Okay. So whether it is 3 years also 12 LPA, you think that it is more? No, it is not that much more. Okay. Yeah. Does anyone have any question, guys? So some people say that, sir, I am very fresh and new all of this. Can I be able to learn? So of course, if it's not that, if you're a fresher or if you're this one, if you wanted to learn this course is for you. Okay, maybe some concepts are little bit difficult for you to understand. For sure, every subject that whatever we are learning, there are few concepts are little bit difficult. What we have to do? We have to put extra more effort. We have to put a little bit more time to understand the concept. That's the only thing. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone, please? Yeah. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can always connect with an admin, guys. And if you wanted to talk with me personally, also you can connect with an admin. They will call me back and we can able to talk each other. That's also fine. And the only thing I would like to tell you guys, the regular sessions are from tomorrow only at the same time. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. If you want to enroll, don't miss it. Okay, if you wanted to enroll, try to be complete your enrollment by tomorrow only, and try to attend the live sessions from tomorrow onwards. Okay, don't delay it. If you are, if you wanted to, change your future, sir, I wanted to enter into the GCP data engineering field with a very good package. I wanted to come out of it, and sir, I heard that GCP is having a very less competition. Sir, I can able to easily learn it. If you wanted to do all of those things, this is the best time for you guys. There are plenty of opportunities out there. Only for out of 100 jobs, only 100 people are applying it. That means whoever is applying, they get the job. So such a kind of a demand is there for the GCP data engineer. People are ready to pay 40 LPA, 50 LPA also for the GCP data engineers. Okay, so I am seeing it. One of the company for Data Metica, for one of the person, and they have recruited with the 41 LPA. Okay, 41 LPA. Okay, he's also senior data engineer only. He's not more than that. Senior data engineer with the 5 years of experience only. So that's how there's a very good demand. I'm telling you, the only thing you have to do is that put effort and learn it and crack the interview. Everything that is required for the job is here. The resume templates, the interview introduction, data engineering, theoretical questions, SQL questions, Python questions, certifications, everything, projects, assignment, real-time case studies, end-to-end pipelines, everything we are going to cover in the session. Okay, so try to take a wise decision at this point of time. Don't waste time. And wherever you are going, not only for this course, okay, try to understand each and every topic and go for an interview. If you think that in some course or everything is proper, then only go for an interview and try to crack the interview, guys. Think about whether this particular role suits you or not. Think about it. Okay, and if you think about it, and if you wanted to learn, if you have the will to learn, you can join the course and put effort every day and try to learn the course. For sure, there is a job out of. See, there are plenty of people. 93% got placed, guys. This count is going to be increasing so far. So this is the number that I got from 93 placed from this particular course. From this particular course, that I know this number. There might have been more than this number also. People might have got placed. Okay, so that's what I'm telling you guys. Take a wise decision. This course is going to be coming up with a lot more techniques, a lot more concepts, including everything which is required for you to get a real-time experience. And after this course, whenever you get a job, you can able to comfortably work in the work in your company or a project, right? So that's the idea. Now tell me, guys, if anyone have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, I end up the session. 3 years. Okay, 2.5 to 3 years you can able to put easily. Okay, and if your experience is more than 8, also you can put 3.5 also. In bit you can put, guys, because if I put 4 years, the 4 years the GCP is not that famous, so I am only the person having 3.8. Okay, you get a very hardly 4 years of experience in the GCP data engineering. Yeah, and that's very good. This course, so you can easily learn. Yeah, we have seen there are one of the manager who's there in this particular course. I think almost 3 batches before, who is having 17 years of experience. He wanted to lead a team of GCP data engineers, so that's the reason he joined this course. Okay, so that's how. So such kind of things also we have seen. Yeah, yeah. So such kind of things we have seen. See, if you wanted to lead a team of GCP data engineers, some of the concepts it's not related to the development. Maybe you need to know some of the concepts, right? So those concepts are also we are covering here. Okay, so yeah, it's your choice. Yeah, again, yeah. Any other questions, anyone, guys? For creating an account, I'll tell you guys for sure you need a credit card or debit card. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, see, there's also one of the guy again. He's also having more than 12 years, even though it doesn't matter, guys. The experience doesn't matter as long as you know the topics. Okay, so we are covering almost 12 to I think 15 services, 12 to 15 services that we are covering. That means it will make a pro. You will get a pro in the GCP data engineer role. I'm telling you, because that 12 years of maturity is different, because 3 years of a guy focuses more on the development side. So he looks at the concepts in the development perspective. But a maturity with the 12 years, 10 years plus guy who looks not only at the development side, he will also think about whether it actually economically he will think about it. Okay, he will also think about the economically, feasibility, governance perspective. So many things come into the picture, architectural way. So that's how. So this course is, again, I'm telling you for sure you are going to get such kind of a knowledge. Yeah. Okay. So it's it's great, guys. So hope you guys have learned from this course. So those who wanted to join the course, I would uh, ask you to connect with an admin, try to complete your enrollments, and we will see and we will meet tomorrow at the same time, guys. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye bye. And we will meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you, guys.